Yeah, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's happening? Happy holidays to everybody. I hope y'all doing well out there, having a great time. I want to talk about Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. and his next opponent. Who will his next opponent be? Who should he fight? And, I feel like there's a few different things to consider here. And we know with Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, there's a negotiation block there. With Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, is really at the mercy of an older fighter who is, hanging on to just a few good fights left and strategically trying to pick and choose what they gonna do next. And Errol Spence really don't know what Manny Pacquiao gonna do, if he's actually gonna fight him or if he's gonna go fight an exhibition fight versus Conor McGregor, or maybe get Mikey Garcia or Danny Garcia in there. Who knows what Manny Pacquiao is gonna do? These are things and legitimate concerns with this fight, with both fights, with Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence and with Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. So with all those things considered, I feel like we have to look at all possible options. Now, does Errol Spence, if he can't get Terrence Crawford, let's just assume, of course, we all know that we want to see Crawford, we want to see Manny Pacquiao. If he can't get either of those guys for whatever reason, and for the obvious reasons that I just mentioned, who does he fight? Does he take Keith Thurman? Does he go after Yordenis Ugas? Does he rematch with Sean Porter? Does Errol Spence take a stay busy fight? We ain't seen one of those in a while from Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? That could be a possibility. Errol Spence has fought, the last stay busy fight that he had was the mandatory versus Ocampo. Now, I mean, you can call it, technically it's a mandatory, so he would have had to fight that guy anyway. But at the same time, that was still, like a stay busy fight. Got the dude out of there in the first round with a body shot. He didn't really get a lot of work in that fight. But the caliber of opponent, even though Ocampo was undefeated, that was considered a stay busy fight. We haven't seen those since, because after that, you had Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? So we haven't seen Errol Spence in a fight like that in a long time. And that could be a possibility with him coming off of that long layoff, the car accident. Then you go in there, you put up a great performance versus Danny Garcia. You have a little bit of ring rust, but overall a flawless, dominant performance. And if you can't get the big fights that you actually looking for, like the Crawford, like the Pacquiao, there is a possibility that Team Crawford would consider, Team Spence would consider just doing a stay busy fight. Maybe he fights the mandatory for the IBF belt, the Russian guy. Maybe he fights, I don't think Ugas would be considered a stay busy fight. He's actually holds a regular WBA belt, so he's in championship contention. Maybe he fights Omar Figueroa, somebody like that. Maybe he just fights somebody that's decent enough to show up in the ring and at least go some rounds. Or maybe it's a guy that Errol Spence wants to go out there and get a knockout on, just to get another knockout in his column and get back to knocking motherfuckers out. It could be a few different things. I personally think if he can't get Crawford or Manny Pacquiao, I feel like he should go and try to get the Keith Thurman fight. I know Errol Spence and Keith Thurman got this feud, not really a feud, but a rivalry, because Keith Thurman avoided Errol Spence for so long, and now Errol Spence so top. Errol like, look, man, you talking about you want to fight me, but I don't really believe you. And even if you do really want to fight me, fuck you, because see, you did me dirty when I was trying to get a shot. You feel me? So they both got their little shit going on, but I feel like they could put that aside if the money right. It's a good fight. Keith Thurman is still a great fighter. Keith Thurman only got one loss. You know what I'm saying? And even if it don't matter, he's still a great fighter. He's only, what, 30, 31 years old? No older than 32. So he's in his prime, and he says that he is as healthy as ever, at least as he's been since he started dealing with those injuries. With the Sean Porter rematch, I mean, that could be cool. To be honest with you, the first fight was a great fight, a fight of the year type of fight, but I don't know if I want to see that fight again. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't trip. I just wouldn't want to see that fight again. That wouldn't be on the top list of opponents for me. But Keith Thurman, I like that match because it's something new, it's something fresh, and plus we always wanted to see these two guys fight. So I really believe that Errol, he got some different options out there. It just depends on what I think it really depends on what they building towards, because if they hear from Team Pacquiao, like, all right, look, after y'all do what y'all do over there, after Manny Pacquiao fight McGregor, whatever, if he gonna veer off and do some weird shit, if he go do that, I'm gonna meet back up with you summertime or fall, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. And then same thing with Crawford, like, okay, you go fight Sean Porter, I'm gonna go do this, we gonna link up. Now, if they can get something like that in play, then the person that he fight might be just a stay busy fight, you know what I'm saying? But if they can't lock something up for the future with the fights that we actually want to see, then I feel like Errol might try to say, fuck it, I can't get nobody else. Let me take on Keith Thurman, because that's a fight that we could still sell. Plus his genuine dislike there for both, like they both got some disdain towards each other. So that's a good fight. And then from there, you know, I really think that's the best option. Anybody, maybe a Ugas would be another option that you could sell. But I think Keith Thurman would be the best option if you can't get Terrence Crawford or Manny Pacquiao. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Who do y'all think Errol Spence Jr. will fight next? And break it down to me, like, why do you choose these names? Because, you know, like I said, we discussed a lot of different reasons. It's a lot of different variables and things to consider. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.